Hey, we're doing a quick tour of my office fish area. I have 4 aquariums here. I'm going to start with the first one I got last September, which is my 75-gallon Discus tank. I have 10 Stenker Discus here. So I've got the blue diamonds, I've got the leopard snake skins, the white leopards right here, and I do have a couple of the German wonders still. I lost 2 of my fish to wasting disease before I figured out what was going on, but everyone else is very healthy. I also have stir-by cories. I have 4 of those. They're doing really well. They spawn every few weeks, and the discus have learned to chase after them and eat the eggs off the glass as they're laid. One of them actually likes to bump the female when she's got the egg and knock it loose. I have, I think he's about a 9-inch pleco. He's so big I had to put him in a homemade pleco cave made from 3-inch PVC with an end cap. It's suction cupped on. It's a bare bottom tank. My other tanks are not. And so one of the lessons learned with a bare bottom is you need more filtration. I may be over filtering this one. I have 2 large Aquarium Co-op sponge filters. I also have a Tidal 75 in the back. And if you look carefully, you'll see I still have 3 neon tetras. I used to have 8. One of the issues with the wasting disease, I did lose a few neons as well. But these guys have been going strong for about 6 months now. So not quite a full shoal of fish, but they're happy. I do have a couple Anubias over here and a Java fern that doesn't do too well with everyone nipping at it. And I've got 2 Amazon sword plants. Those are actually in little flower pots with substrate. I was trying to keep the bare bottom theme, but as you can see, a lot of activity has knocked the substrate loose, and every so often I take a toy shovel like for the beach that kids would use to dig sand. I have one of those I use. I just scoop up the substrate. And these guys, I had 6 of them. I've moved the others to other tanks, and I'll show you what happens when you put them in a properly prepared tank. And this is the second tank I got. It is a 20-gallon long. I really loved the videos on the Neolamprolagus multifasciatus, also known as the maltese. So I bought 6 of them. I have a aragonite substrate. I also have a window, I guess it's like a hydrostatic type of cover that I put on the back inside and instead of painting. So I have a black background on this tank. The white substrate, so it's a little difficult to see. Well, they are moving a bit, so that's good. I have basically a package and a half, probably about 50 snail shells. The aragonite was level when I put it in here. They have done a lot of digging and moving of territory. And of the 6 fish I have, it turns out I had 3 female and 3 male. And so they've all set up their colony areas. They've all set up their territories. And this darker male in the back, he's the lone one. He doesn't really have much other than the corner. But these guys are breeding like crazy. I'm about ready to give some of these away. And then I'll start selling them online, probably on Aqua, or there's some other options I'm looking at too. But I can see this tank from my desk here in the office very easily. It's on the opposite wall from the Discus tank. And So I have to turn around to see the Discus tank, or if I'm on a Zoom call, then I'll see it behind me. For this tank, I do have 2 heaters, and I do have an inkbird, so I didn't want to risk losing anybody, and I didn't want to risk a heater failure. So these guys are a little warm, not as warm as the Discus tank, which is at 84 right now. This one I keep at 78. Okay, my first attempt at doing a dirted substrate was to do that in Tupperwares, in case I wanted to remove it or stop the project. The problem that I had, though, is that when I got hair algae, it just exploded all over this tank right here, and it took a while for me to clean it out. So I have my Bolivian ram in here, a bristlenose pleco, and a dwarf gourami, and they just were not happy. So eventually I had to redo the whole thing. So it is about a ½ inch of soil. It's the organic soil, and then 1.5 inches of sand cap. The sand is just pool filter sand. You can see the nice golden medacas, the gold medacas swimming around. These are the ones that were rescued from my outdoor pond. 5 of them survived. Couldn't find 2 of them, so I'm assuming the raccoon got them. This tank has been through a lot. I've only got 1 Bolivian ram left. This is one from Dan's Fish. I had another outbreak of something here that came from one of the fish I had in my other tank. So it didn't come from Dan, it was already here when I put Dan's fish in here, but this one's grown out nicely. Then there is the dwarf gourami taking a look at us. But if you can see in the mid-ground there is one of the 4 Amazon swords I moved out of the Discus tank, and it's already quite large. I think this has been here for about a month now. It's a bit subdued lighting. I don't like bright lights on my aquariums. And eventually I'm going to move these medacas to probably another aquarium, or maybe an indoor pot. We'll see. Right, this is the full dirted tank that I put together, the same time as the 10-gallon on the other side of it. It's growing like crazy. You can see this Amazon sword that I had put in here from the Discus tank. Within, well, less than a month, it was touching the surface. Now it's basically growing as long as it can get. I put 5 blue star endlers. Most of them are blue star endlers. One of the females is not, so now I've got a mixed endler tank. I also have, well, I started with 5 Bloody Mary Neolamprolagus shrimp and a bunch of ram's horn snails. So I probably have over 100 endlers, over 100 of the Bloody Marys, and it's time to start moving them into grow out tanks or some other tank. And on top you can see the plushie I got from Stephen P. This is definitely the way I want to go with the tank now. Definitely want to go with a deep substrate. Definitely fully planted. Eventually the Discus tank, I'll get a new tank, a larger tank, and I'll go full deep substrate with that.